Hey, Cock 45, happy to bring you a really cool rifle today. Yes, the Marlin 1895 SBL. Guess who made this one? You guessed it, Ruger. I've been waiting to get my hands on a Ruger-made Marlin for quite a while. I think we all have, because we hated to see what was happening with Marlin, and you know, when they were owned by Remington, and looking forward to some better quality, weren't we? When we're hoping that we'd get it. So that's what we're going to talk about. But it's the SBL model, 19-inch barrel, and they started making this when Remington owned them in like around 2009, I think. Remington bought them around 2007, and so this was a model introduced. It was a version of the guide gun, you know, when Remington was the owner, and this is a new one though, just made recently by Ruger. So as you can tell, fortunately, I have both. This is a Remington-made one, and this is the Ruger-made one. So we're lucky. Ran into a fellow working at Nashville Gun and Knife named Tim, who happened to have one. We got to talking about these, so appreciate his lending that to us for the video. So we'll compare it a little bit and show you the changes. I guess some would be maybe improvements or just differences. But first, I want to fire it. All right. So we got 6 rounds in, that's the capacity. Let's blast some water. With one of those fine Federal 300 grain rounds in 45-70. How about that watermelon down there? Oh my gosh. Made quick work of that, didn't it? Man, while we're blowing things up, what about that cinder block? Hey, what about the gong? I don't like him. Yeah, he's giving me an evil look. So is that buffalo. I'm gonna hit the buffalo. Woo! 45-70 hits kind of hard, doesn't it? Well, let's smoke a little pot. It might be the last round. Whoa, went through it so fast. Look at that, just put a hole in it. Pretty amazing. So I guess I just had 6. You could run 6 plus 1, which would be, let's see, where's my calculator? 7, right? So the mag holds 6. Yeah, this is the new Ruger Marlin, the version of the guide gun. It's the SBL, made in North Carolina. Interesting, no doubt about it. And here's what we were shooting right there. And this firearm is a Marlin, so it should handle anything pretty much we put in it. I understand they have pretty tight tolerances, so you know, it could be some version of 45-70. I don't know. I've just run into that over my years of shooting. Occasionally, a firearm that'll fire almost any ammo chamber, any ammo, any cartridge, but you'll get something maybe. What am I trying to think of? Something we had trouble in some firearm. It didn't want anything with a nickel case for some reason. It was a rifle. I think it was maybe 45-70. I don't know, but I fired some hand loads. I fired some just cast loads through it, and been firing this, so it seems to do fine. But it does supposedly tight tolerances. That's one of the improvements that Ruger claims to have made. You know, in the chamber and just in everything. They started fluting the bolt here, as you can see, and nickel plating it. Okay, they say they've improved what they think they've improved the rail. It's either tighter or whatever, and it's a Picatinny rail there, pretty cool. Got your ghost ring sight, adjustable for windage back there. You got high-vis tritium optic sight up here, or not optic, but you know, you see what you got there. It's a tritium, and they've got a threaded barrel. Maybe we'll slip on a suppressor before we finish from Silencer Central. We happen to have the Banish 46 here, and we appreciate them letting us use that. And we're going to shoot a couple of suppressed shots. They won't be quiet, right? This is not subsonic, but we might do that before we leave. Anyway, we appreciate Silencer Central's assistance, and I thank Federal Premium. Haven't thanked the Sonoran Desert Institute, sdi.edu. Be sure you check them out. You might want to take some distance learning classes, gunsmithing, firearms technology. Great program. GI Bill, you know, whatever. So check them out. sdi.edu. Great supporter of the channel. And And you know who the best supporter of the channel is? You all. We really appreciate y'all coming by. Now, Tim's SBL here, just a couple words about it. You know, he's very pleased with it. You know, we get to thinking that everything that Marlin produced under Remington was trash. I think if you read the internet and believe everything on the internet. But you know, some of their guns, I've seen some of them that seem fine, and we've had a couple here. One was pretty rough. The finish work was pretty rough on it, and I think we had another one that was better. And I've picked up some in shops over the last few years, and I really couldn't tell a difference. And so I think it was kind of hit or miss with Remington. You know, some of them might have been pretty atrocious in terms of quality control, while others were fine. Okay. And Ruger, of course, had the monkey on their back. I've been saying for 2 to 3 years they had better do well because everybody's watching, and apparently they have. My impression, if you've seen any reviews of this firearm from people with a brain, you know, other reviews, I think what I have seen so far has been very positive, and what I've read has been very, very positive about it. And I'm glad to see it, and I expected that. Ruger really had no choice, and I'll be anxious to see some of their other models when they come out in the blue and some of their pistol caliber versions, you know, the Model 94 and different things. Just in some ways that can be more of a challenge, you know, with blued finish and, you know, everything, real regular wood. This is laminate here, like we grow on my place, I've talked about before. Okay, that's one of the improvements they claim to have made, was the finish on the wood. Okay. And they look very similar, but you notice in the checkering here, it's a little different. You don't have the kind of the same color that you have here. You may prefer the Remington, you may prefer the Ruger version. I think I like the Ruger a little bit better. It's not a big deal. You know, cold hammer forged barrel on the new ones. I guess on the old ones, I don't know. Threaded barrel, as I say. You have, oh gosh, what else in here? Just a nickel-plated bolt. You know, they changed the little, you know, little eye here used to be black and white, and the Ruger changed that to red. And the etching here, you know, they changed that. You know, instead of a plate, you got a little etching, the man on the horse, the Ruger emblem there, which is kind of nice. Okay. By and large, it feels good, and I think the Remington, this one seems fine. You know, the fit and finish on it seems pretty good. Maybe not quite as good as this one. Now, this one does have a pretty good fit and finish. We did notice, I don't know, the wood, it's not if it's split or what. The finish right there is not perfect. Okay, my finger is not perfect, but it's something about the wood there. Laminate wood, but it's not bad. Better than some of the others I saw in their finished condition. But so, you know, nobody's perfect, and it might have been, I don't know, shipment or something. But all in all, it appears that Ruger is doing what I think most of us expected. They're doing a really good job on these things, and I commend them. I expected it. I would have been really disappointed if they had not. And as I think of it, if there's any other differences. Now this sells supposedly, MSRP I think is $1,400, $1,399, not $1,400. But you know, right now they're very limited, and so you may see them for any price. And but hopefully eventually the new Marlins will be out in numbers, and you know, you'll be able to get them at the MSRP or less, right? I should be loading, right? Instead of yakking. But yeah, it's hard to beat a Marlin. Now this is a nice gun. It feels smooth. You know, the edges, no real rough or sharp edges. It loads smoothly, seems to, and just a nice gun. The old guide gun, just a great configuration, especially the stainless model. You know, this is the T-Rex gun, right? It'll take out a T-Rex. I prefer the blue. I prefer my old guide gun. I'll, you know, be honest with you. And I've told y'all before. Many of you, if you hunt, you probably like this large loop lever like this, and it looks cool, just like the rifleman's rifle. It looks really cool because it's even bigger and everything. But it doesn't do anything for me because of the way I handle the lever. I don't put my hand inside. I do it like this, and so it just feels too big for me. But now if I was a hunter and I was out hunting in 20 below with gloves, with my Kentucky mittens on, you know, I'd probably like that. All right, let's shoot something else. Like this guy right here. And that pink 2-liter. Woo! And an orange one. Boy, nothing like a 45-70. Oh, and this smart-aleck pot. Yeah, finished him off. We got one more for that other 2-liter over there. Wonder if I could shoot through him and hit that pig over there. Is that a pig? Yeah, it's a pig. Okay. He's right behind it. I don't know where it went. Oh yeah, it's smooth. He's a smooth operator, I'll have to say. Yeah. So you got your Picatinny rail. You could put a red dot on there. And I know it seems atrocious to many of us on a lever gun, but you know, people put scopes and red dots and things on there. Like to me, you know, I've got that STP model Marlin that, you know, looks a lot like this. And the last thing I would do is put a rail on it like that. Even though stainless steel, laminate stock, it's not exactly like something, you know, Buffalo Bill carried, right? And so that's the thing about it. You've got a laminate stock and stainless steel, you know, tritium front sight and all that kind of thing. So you put on whatever you want to put on it. And it's a hunting gun for the most part. If you're going to a cowboy match or something, you're probably not going to be choosing something like this anyway, something more traditional. But it's kind of a nice blend. You know, it's classic. It's a good looking gun, but you do have the rail, so you have an easy, well, you have options there on your sights. They're, you know, about easy to put anything on there, is what I'm trying to say. So it's pretty cool. I'll shoot a little more. I'll put that end on perhaps. Is there anything else you want to know about it? Let me know. You notice on the serial number you've got RM. They all, I think, begin with RM, Ruger Marlin. And then the new logo, instead of JM, and I don't know what they put on there when Remington had them, I forget, but you got kind of an RP there. The logo shows you it's made by Ruger and made in North Carolina. So I know many of you are anxious for these to come out in numbers so that you can help yourself to one, right? You want to try a hammer down? Let's try a hammer down round before we put that suppressor. Oh yeah, these might be the nickel ones I was thinking about that didn't want to go in some firearm we had. The chamber was too tight or something. Let's see. Hammer down. We will put the hammer down. We might see if it'll knock the gong off its pedestal over there. You know, and since it's a hammer, it's for them. Since it's a pretty powerful round, let's try one on this paper target. See if it will penetrate that paper. I think it did. Now we'll go to the gong. And then we'll take out that ram. Oh, it moved it. Look at it rock. And that ram is smirking at me. Yeah. Take this. Uh-oh. Take this. Okay. Now I'm challenged. I think I went over it, then I went under it, didn't I? We're going to lay the hammer down on you, Mr. Ram, if it takes a full load of ammo here. Okay, here's 3. Surely I can hit him with 3 rounds. One of them. All right, I'm not sure where I'm going now. There we go. Okay, I think I was going a little bit low. We got one more. So before we put the suppressor on, let's just take out the yeah, let's hit the gong. Rock him again. Before I start messing with the end of the barrel, I like to have the action open and see very clearly that it's empty. It's thread protector. That's one of the things that we've noticed, you've noticed too, on rifles these days. It just seems pretty common that they come threaded because suppressors have become so popular. And they're able to match it. So, you know, we had one rifle, you know what it was now. John and I Didn't even realize it was threaded until like the second video or something. And then we put a suppressor on it because you just didn't notice it. It just looked like the end of the barrel, so that's always nice. Okay. All right, now this won't be quiet, of course, but since we can, why not? Sometimes you just do something because you can, right? No pun intended there on can. So we'll wrap up with a little quieter. I don't know that it's hearing safe with these rounds, so we'll go to the hardware store tomorrow and see if we can find some subsonic 4570. Okay. All right, now it's really cool looking, isn't it? Wow, what a rig. Now that suppressor would really look odd on a, like a Model 92 blued Winchester, right? 92 or something, 1886. But on this rifle, it just kind of blends in, You got stainless and black and laminate. Actually almost looks good, like it belongs there. So let's hit the gong again, see if it sounds any different. Oh yeah, a lot more quiet to me. Has a different feel. Of course, I got extra weight hanging out there. Let's try that other buffalo over there on the right. Pow! Smacked him. And how about the ram over there? Yeah, just take care of all those. Oh, I got one more for this pot right here. Well, I got two more. How about, a 2-liter right there. Yeah, we don't want anybody to survive. That's pretty cool. I don't know what it sounded like to you, but with my ears in on both rounds, it was quiet, because I had my ears in. But for those who are not familiar with suppressors, you do need subsonic ammo for them to work. I mean, they help, and they're used on a lot of rifles. Here I'm sounding like an expert, but trying to sound like an expert. But they were used in Vietnam. They're used on rifles where they're not firing subsonic ammo, of course, but they do change the sound. And as I understand, it's more difficult to determine where that round came from when you hear a gunfire, and you don't hear it from as far away, or that sort of thing. So there's some benefit, to the shooter, not as loud to the shooter. And in hunting, they become very, very popular. You don't scare off as much game, for 5 miles around, when you're using them. So, but anyway, I have to agree with what I've read so far from folks that have lavished a fair amount of praise upon this new Marlin, Ruger Marlin, because it seems to be well made and smooth. That nickel-plated bolt and everything, edges are smooth, and it's a well-made rifle, it appears, and I look forward to seeing more of these come out of Ruger. Well, it's out of Marlin, but they're owned by Ruger. I look forward to some of my favorite models, and I'm sure your favorite models too, in the blued rifles and some of the more classic rifles, the Model 94 and whatever. So glad you came out tonight and helped me shoot this new, is it a Ruger or a Marlin? I guess it's both. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. Really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com, And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.